In this paper, I discuss the idea of open modding, what it is, and how best it can be achieved for the modding community. There are essentially two ways that modders view the place of their creations in the modding community: the cathedral view and the parlor view. In the cathedral view, modding is viewed as being like a joint effort to build a cathedral. Individually, our contributions may be small and may not be worth doing for themselves. But by each person contributing something, we construct something larger and more worthwhile than any of us could do on our own. Under this view, creations are contributions and may not be taken back. Just as in building a cathedral, it would not be allowed for a person to contribute a stained glass window and then later take it back. The parlor view, in contrast, is the view that mods are more like privately owned works of art displayed in the modder's parlor. The modder invites others into the parlor to appreciate and enjoy the work of art, but may at any time close the parlor door and ask their guests to leave. And of course, the modder may be very selective about who they invite into their parlor. Under this view, our creations are never contributions. Rather, we continue to own and control them. Takebacks are normal and accepted. The parlor view allows the creator to retain complete control of their work. But the cathedral view creates a much larger, more enduring and more perfected body of work. And for that reason, I prefer it. To give an example, a year or two ago, Joe Stevens wrote a mod called Less Generic NPC Seyda-Neen, which fleshed out many of the characters in Seyda-Neen by giving them non-generic responses to standard dialogue topics. Joe eventually left the community, but another team took up the idea after him, creating LGNPC mods for a number of towns. But after doing several towns, the LGNPC team had raised the bar considerably, and Joe's original work was looking pretty first draftish. At that point, I volunteered to redraft LGNPC Seyda-Neen, fixing grammar, paragraph structure, logical inconsistencies, and generally bringing it up to the current LGNPC bar. By the cathedral view, my redraft was a good thing. I took something that was good and made it even better. And as a result, Joe's original work is seen and appreciated more than before. But by the parlor view, my redraft was a bad thing, since I changed Joe's original work. According to the parlor view, I should have created a new LGNPC Seyda-Neen from scratch. The result of this would have been two competing LGNPC Seyda-Neens. Not only would this have been a lot more work, but if mine were substantially better, it would have crowded out Joe's original, thus ensuring that even fewer people saw it. Fortunately for all of us, Joe himself was more of a cathedral sort of guy, and had already given the LGNPC team permission to edit and redistribute his work. Hence, my edit had been pre-blessed. However, not everything turned out perfectly. In my revision of Seyda-Neen, I have the bard tell a ghost story related to one of my favorite mods, Ivza's Amulet of Scry. If the player doesn't have Amulet of Scry, then the ghost story is just an extra bit of non-generic dialogue. But if the player does have AOS, then Ghost Story complements it nicely, emphasizing the spookiness of that mod. However, a few weeks after I released the LGNPC Seyda-Neen, Ivza decided to pull Amulet of Scry from public distribution. To me, that felt like the glazier coming into the cathedral, pulling out the stained glass window that he had put in earlier and taking it home with him. But for Ivza, I think that it was just a closing of his parlor door. It was this, combined with very vocal support for the parlor view on the forum, that led me to retire. I had several ongoing projects, and there were several items that I would have liked to continue working on. But it seems like the parlor view is predominant, and personally, I don't find it that inspiring. The cathedral view vastly reduces duplication of effort, instead promoting either improvements in or extensions of the original, or the creation of entirely new, complementary works. One doesn't have to go far in reviewing one's mod library to see quite a few of these examples of mods that extend or fix earlier mods. The Cathedral view tends towards perfection, while the Parlor view tends towards repetition and stagnation. Repetition, because earlier useful works that have been closed off have to be recreated. Stagnation, because this fails to lead to improvements. And more importantly, because few modders are interested in replicating something that has already been done before. The Cathedral view tends towards rich integration between mods. But under the Parlor view, there's not much point of integrating with another mod, since that mod can be removed at any time. Certainly, I would not have added the Amulet of Scry references to LGNPC Sedanin if I had thought Ivza might remove it. Improved works are much more likely to give everyone credit. On the other hand, if two works are independently created to do the same job, then it's likely that only one of them will win. That is, be widely known, used, and thus the effort and name of the loser will be lost. There's little desire to mention your competitor in your README, but in extensions and improvements, the norm is for the original author to get top billing. Many modders, such as myself, aren't interested in working in a non-cathedral community. It's belonging to a community, creating something that outlasts our own efforts, that integrates and grows even when we're away, that makes the community so interesting. But under the Parlor view, much of what has been built in the past just disappears.